This is Kirsten from I Know What's Up from the rooftop. My hair's a bit wind blowing, and I wanted to give you a quick tip before we get started. I love tea, which you all know, but sometimes I don't get to drink my hot tea fast enough because it just gets cold. So I have a little tip. Pour your tea into a cup of ice, and you now have iced tea. Some of you probably already do that, but anyways. So I just wanted to talk about setting healthy boundaries. Is someone treating you in a way that leaves you feeling uncomfortable, manipulated, or devalued? And are you participating by not setting a healthy boundary? And what is a healthy boundary, and how do we set them? Well, stay tuned, and I'll talk about that. So, the question is, what is a healthy boundary? Well, a healthy boundary for me is loving myself and respecting myself enough to let other people know how I want to be treated, how I want to be spoken to, and taking the time to kindly let them know that. So, what are some consequences of not setting a healthy boundary? Well, I think if we allow people to demean, degrade, disrespect, manipulate us, in a sense, I'm going to take some advice and turn this down because I got some good advice on my video. I didn't realize it was so loud, but when I'm up here journaling, and I love to listen to music that relaxes me and just gets my thoughts brewing. So, the consequences of not setting a healthy boundary, in my mind, you actually participate in your degradation. So when you allow people to talk to you in a certain way, an example would be, a guy speaking to you in a sexual way. Somebody who sets a boundary isn't going to accept or allow that. So if we laugh and we don't take action, and we've all been there, I've done it, and setting a boundary takes a lot of practice, but nevertheless, they make us feel uncomfortable and stuff. But if we don't say anything, if we don't let people know how we stand, where we stand, we're participating. And they're getting the green light that it's okay to talk to you or treat you in a certain way. So we don't want to participate in that process. But then the question is, what do we do? How do we set a healthy boundary? Instinctually, we're going to typically get angry, and I've been here before too, where I've just gone off on somebody. And the first thing I think is important to understand is that sometimes people aren't intentionally being manipulative or disrespectful. They're just playing and goofing, and so always see people with the best intent until they give you a reason not to. And then when you go to set the healthy boundary, for women, I think that for me as a woman, I want to say, because I don't want to tell other people how to be, but for me, I believe that setting a boundary it's confident, but it's kind. And if you watch my videos, you know that that's my word for 2020. Kindness, it's something that I'm ruminating on and practicing and trying to deeply understand, like, what that really means, because it's just something in my heart that I'm very passionate about, because I fully believe that brings about actual change. So how do we set it? Well, we set it by letting people know, as women, hey, this is making me uncomfortable. I feel disrespected when you did or said this. Can you just be aware of that? And then you kind of step back and you allow the person to respond, because that's going to tell you very, very much about that person, if they are going to respect you or not. And then, depending on their response, you basically either eliminate that person out of your life, or you build something. So, but getting back to kindness, for how important that is for me, I came across a quote by Mark Twain, and I just thought it very profound. And he said, kindness is the language with which deaf people can hear and blind can see. And that is so much deeper than just the physical. There's a spiritual and emotional element, because we all know that we can be blind in the spiritual, and we can be blind in the emotional, as well as the physical. So this statement goes way beyond just the physical to me. And we have to understand that we know that violence begets violence. So isn't it true that kindness is going to beget kindness, or hopefully? I know there's many examples. I watched a video today of a man who infiltrated the KKK, and he just started having discussions, and it was a process. It was a long and years of work, but this man derobed and came out of the KKK, and these two gentlemen of different colors became really good friends, and that's what kindness does. Kindness doesn't always have a quick response, a quick result, but it will have a result, and you keep staying in that, and you keep practicing it. And there's other examples of people who have been really kind, some heroes of mine, like Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King said, "I have a dream that my 4 little children will not be judged by the color of their skin, but on the content of their character." And Martin Luther King really emulates kindness to me, because when I think back when he was marching in places like Mississippi and Alabama, and the old black and white videos of the police and having the attack dogs on them, and the firemen having like fire hoses on them, just for simply marching against unjust, unfair rules. And yet he didn't respond in kind. He really kept it peaceful. And as a result of that, he moved this nation in ways that they hadn't moved since Abraham Lincoln, especially in particular in the South. So you have to know that kindness might not get a quick result, but it gets results. And then I think of someone like Nelson Mandela. Now here's a perfect example of a man who started off very violent and ended up in prison for it. But when he came out, he was a completely different man. So much so that he led the nation of South Africa, and he brought peace to that nation. And we've seen many examples. We see it today in our own country, and we see it, all over the world. People who are violent, they don't really bring any results. It repels good people. They don't appeal to our better human nature. They just create more anger and hostility, and it produces like a totally opposite and different result. So being kind is so important, and setting boundaries with people and letting people know this is acceptable, this isn't acceptable, and doing it kindly. It's really makes our world a better place. I don't know about you, but the thought of walking around in a world where people are kind, considerate, respectful, doesn't that sound really amazing, really nice, instead of what we have today? So I'm hoping to be, I'm making it my life mission to be a promoter of kindness, and I don't view that as a weak stance. I view it in line with setting the boundaries, letting people know what we will and will not tolerate in a kind way. And I think that brings far greater fruit than responding with violence to try to make some kind of social change, to create upheaval. So give that some thought. Let me know what you think. And thanks so much for watching. I would ask that you would subscribe for more videos if you find this helpful in the future, and leave a comment. Let me know what you like, what you don't like, and thanks. I appreciate you. I hope you have a wonderful day and a good week. The sun's finally popped out here, and it's really pretty, and the sun feels good, and now I've got to go hit the books. So I love you.